Now let us look at another similar problem. Okay, there is a square loop of side L, okay, in which current I is entering into the point A. It is getting split up into these two parts, one as I1 here and I2 here. Okay, I1 current goes like this and comes out. Okay, I2 current passes through these three segments and comes out. Okay, such that I will be same here and here, means the potential difference, potential drop between A and D, either you go like this or like this, will remain same. Okay, right? So naturally what will happen here, we have only one segment R of some side length L. Here there are three segments here, the total resistance here will be 3R. Okay, such that, right, current I1 will be, right, 3 times more than the current I2, because resistance is more, V equal to IR. Okay, V equal to IR. Okay, potential difference is same between the 2 points A and D. Okay, right, resistance is 3 times more, so current will be 3 times less. Means here 3/4 current will pass through this segment, only 1/4 current will pass through this segment. Okay, right, so such that the field due to these three segments, each field is contributing only 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, that is 3/4. This one segment is also contributing, right, 3/4. Field due to this segment and field due to these three segments will be equal, but they will be in opposite directions. Why? Okay, the current here is like this, right? The magnetic field due to this segment here, the magnetic field will come out of the board due to this, whereas in this three segments, magnetic field is, right, pointing into the board. Okay, and both are equal and opposite, such that resultant field B at the center is equal to 0. Okay, this is one method of problems, one type of problems, okay, where depending on the resistance, currents will get split up and accordingly magnetic fields get produced. Okay, now let us see one more problem. The configuration is like this. There is some magnetic field B pointing into the board, which is 0.5 Tesla. Okay, length is 60 centimeters. Length of a conducting rod is 60 centimeters and its mass is, say, 100 grams. Okay, now for what direction of current, okay, and because of this mass, right, weight mg will be acting downwards like this. Weight mg will be acting downwards like this. Okay, imagine that there is no magnetic field, right? These two leads will be under some tension because of this mass. Okay, for what direction of current and what amount of current, the tension in the leads will become 0. Means, right, tension in these leads should become 0. That holding leads should have no tension at all. Okay, means when is that possible? Okay, this weight mg should get nullified. Means the force, if an equal and opposite force is acting in opposite direction like this, which is equal to the weight mg, then, right, the resultant weight will become 0. The leads will not have any tension. Okay, now what is that force? That force should be provided by the magnetic force. That force nothing but the magnetic force. A magnetic force should obviously point upwards. Okay, means for what direction of current magnetic force will be pointing upwards, means Fleming's left hand rule, forefinger in the direction of the field. Okay, right, and forefinger in the direction of the field. The force should point upwards in the direction of thumb, means, right, direction of current should be like this. Means current I should flow in this wire towards our right. Means current I should be from the point A to B. Okay, such that that force should be equal in magnitude also, and because it is opposite in direction. So what is magnetic force? Force F equal to ILB. ILB. If this is equal to weight mg of the rod, then the two forces will be equal and opposite. Okay, the tension in the leads will become 0. So what is the direction of the current? Direction of the current should be from A to B. Okay, and how much current should flow? Current I equal to mg by LB. M is given, G is known, L is also given, right? B, if you substitute, that much amount of current should start flowing from A to B, such that the entire weight of the rod is managed by the magnetic force, such that the leads will not be under any tension. Okay, right? This is one way of asking questions. Okay, right? And one more thing it can be asked is, if the direction of the current is reversed, what will happen? If the direction of current is reversed, what will happen? Now forefinger is pointing into the board, right? Direction of current is reversed means current should be like, means force will be acting downwards here. Okay, if the direction of current is reversed, now what is happening? Magnetic force is also acting downwards. Weight mg will obviously act downwards only, such that resultant force will be equal to, right, ILB and mg. Means tension in the leads will become double that of the earlier case. Okay, right? Now let us see one more important aspect. Okay, consider a uniform magnetic field of strength B like this, pointing into the board, There is one semicircular wire of radius r. This is center O, this is radius r. Okay, a semicircular wire carrying a current I like this. What is the total force on the wire? Okay, we have already seen force on a current wire is given by F equal to I into L bar cross B bar. Okay, right? The same formula, but this is a segment like this, semicircular wire. Now we have to see what is the resultant force on this and what is the direction of that resultant force. We have to see now. Okay, now for that I'll consider an axis like this and a small element of length dl like this. The dl subtends an angle d theta, and let it be at an angle theta. Now what is the direction of this force on the small element of length dl, which subtends an angle d theta? We have to see. Now use Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, forefinger in the direction of the field. Okay, right, dl in the middle finger in the direction of current. Force will be acting like this. df will be in this direction. Now I'll resolve this df into two components. One is df, this angle is theta, means this angle also will be theta. So this becomes df cos theta. This becomes df sin theta. Okay, so df cos theta, df sin theta. Now if you consider exact symmetrical point here of same element of length dl here subtending an angle d theta, this df will be like this. If I resolve this into two components, this becomes df cos theta and this becomes df sin theta. Now look at df cos theta components. These two are equal and opposite. Okay, like that every point will have a symmetrically opposite point where df cos theta components will get cancelled out or neutralized. So the total force is only due to df sin theta. So resultant force is only due to the sin theta components, df sin theta. What is df? Small amount of force acting on the small element of length dl. Okay, that is f equal to, that df equal to current in the element is I. Okay, length is dl, magnetic field is B, angle between dl and B is 90 degrees. That is understood. Sin 90 is 1, so I am directly taking it as I dl B. What is dl equal to? Dl is equal to angle d theta equal to arc length by, angle equal to arc length by radius. Radius is capital R, arc length is dl by radius is r. So that small element of length dl equal to r d theta we can write, where r is radius of the circle. Okay, so this is nothing but I r b d theta. So df sin theta will be equal to how much? Df sin theta equal to, right, I r b, okay, sin theta d theta. This is df sin theta components. Df sin theta equal to this much. What is the resultant entire force acting on the entire wire? What is the total force acting on the entire wire? Means we have to integrate this df sin theta from theta equal to 0 degrees to theta equal to 180 degrees. Okay, therefore the resultant force on the entire wire is integral 0 to pi, right, df sin theta components, df sin theta, right, that df sin theta is nothing but okay, integral 0 to pi I r b, okay, sin theta d theta. Now I r b comes out integral sin theta d theta minus cos theta, that is minus I r b, okay, cos theta, cos pi minus cos 0. Cos pi is -1. Cos 0 is 1. -1, -1, -2. Minus of minus will be plus. This is simply 2IRB. Okay, this is the resultant force on that semicircular segment of wire, current wire placed in a uniform magnetic field. Now look, analyze the result here. R is radius. Okay, segment is like this, right? In general, the formula is ILB. For I, we have I here. For B also we have B. For length, what are we getting? Length, we are getting it as 2R. What is 2R? Nothing but the diameter, the effective length of the segment. Though the segment is like this, what part of that length is coming into the formula? Means it is only the effective length from here to here. From here to here it is R. From here to here it is R. So the total effective length 2R is coming in the picture. Means what do you understand? Let the segment be in any shape. Okay, only the effective length is nothing but the shortest distance between 2 points. Okay, this is the coming into the formula here. So now we can understand the picture like this. Okay, let the wire be like in any shape like this. A current carrying wire is like this. Okay, what is the force? It is placed in a uniform magnetic field of induction B. Okay, what is the force between the 2 points A and B? Okay, it is only the effective length which is important, irrespective of the shape of the wire. The shortest distance, length between the 2 points is only important. Okay, right? Similar to that semicircular segment, we have got effective length as 2R. Okay, and the wire may be of this shape also, or it can be of any shape. Okay, what matters? What is the resultant force on this segment? Means it is only I into, right, this effective length L into the magnetic field of induction B. Okay, right, this is one important aspect. Now let us see one more interesting problem. Okay, we have seen whenever there is a magnetic field, okay, and a particle enters into it at right angles to it, the particle's path will be bent into a circle. That we have seen in circulating charges topic. Okay, now here the magnetic field is not throughout. Okay, the particle will enter into a magnetic field and just comes out because it is traveling in a circular path. Suppose say the magnetic field is entering what you call is up to this point only. Okay, the particle enters into, it won't revolve totally in the magnetic field, it will come out of the magnetic field. Okay, part of its journey will be out of the magnetic field. Now the question is, a magnetic field of induction B is like this. A particle of charge Q is entering into a magnetic field like this. Its particle's path will be bent into a circle and it comes out of the magnetic field. If this angle is theta, what is this angle and what is the distance EF? Means the point of entry and the point of exit. What is the distance between the entry point and exit point of the magnetic fields? That is the question. Now here, look at the geometry. Okay, whenever what you call, why are we getting circular motion here? Because, right, the particles magnetic force will always be perpendicular to the velocity direction. Okay, velocity here is like pointing like this. So the magnetic force will be pointing in this direction. Whenever the force is perpendicular to velocity and displacement, the particle's path will be bent into a circle like this. That's what we have seen. Okay, particle's path will be bent into a circle. So this is now the circular path of this. Okay, right, will have a radius R equal to mv by qb. This we have already seen in our last lectures. Okay, now here the velocity v is in this direction. Okay, magnetic field is pointing into the board, so force will be in this direction. Okay, because of this perpendicular force only, particle's path will be getting bent into, right? Now at this point velocity will be tangential like this. Okay, force will be this way. If you look at the direction of the force, you'll understand that the circular path center will be out of the magnetic field because magnetic field is ending here only. Okay, right, now this angle is given as 45 degrees. Okay, magnetic field is here, velocity is perpendicular only thing is for this line it is making an angle. Entry point is 45 degrees with this line, edge of the magnetic field. What is this angle theta and what is the distance between the entry point and exit point of the magnetic field? That is what is the length EF. That's what we are supposed to calculate now. Okay, for this How do we proceed? Now, if you concentrate on the geometry, the situation is like this. Center of the circular path will be at this point. This will become our radius r. R equal to mv by qb. R equal to mv by qb. That is a fixed one. Now, this angle will be 90 degrees. This angle will be 90 degrees. Given this as 45 degrees, so this angle becomes how much? Okay, this is 90 already. This total is 180. Okay, 90 plus 45, 135. So this angle must be 45 degrees. Okay, and here this one, this length is also r. This length is also r. It is an isosceles triangle. If this angle is 45 degrees, this angle also will be 45 degrees only. When this angle is 45, right? This angle again is 90. This is 45. Though this will also be obviously 45 degrees only. Okay. So the symmetry of the figure suggests that if the entry point is made, if the entrance direction is making angle 45 degrees, exit direction is also making 45 degrees only. Now, here what do we do? Call this point as O dash. Okay. This is 45 degrees. Now, EO equal to how much? I'll take cos theta. Okay, cos theta is equal to, right, adjacent side by hypotenuse. Adjacent side is EO. EO by hypotenuse is R. So EO equal to R cos theta. EO equal to R cos theta. Similarly, now I want EF. EF is nothing but EO plus OF. That is nothing but 2EO. So EF is equal to, right, 2EO. 2EO dash equal to 2 into, right, R cos theta. Theta is 45 degrees here. Okay, so that is 2 into R is mv by qb. R is mv by qb into cos 45 is 1 by root 2. So it is nothing but root 2 mv by qb. Okay, this is the length EF. Okay, root 2 mv by qb will be the distance between E and F. Okay, this is one important way of asking questions. Okay, we have seen various ways in which questions can be asked from the information what we have seen earlier in earlier lectures. Okay, almost if you concentrate on this, right, you don't have to solve each and every problem. Okay, if you know what is the, what you call the angle, perpendicular distances, okay, what is the angle surrounded by the arc at center, okay, what type of segments are causing magnetic field, whether they are in the same direction or in opposite directions, just concentrate on that. You can solve any problem, okay, based on this. Okay, right, I'll come out with some more problems, okay, which will be helpful for all competitive exams in the later videos. Okay, I'll stop here for today. We'll continue in the next video. Thank you.